The greatest hits of all time, Big Oldies Radio. We're going to go into news talk mode here for a while this afternoon. We have the privilege and honor of having Congressman Mark Green with us. And Congressman, thank you for joining us. Thank you for the time.
Oh yeah, it's great to be with you. I always enjoy sitting down and talking about what's going on.
And what's been on your docket recently? I know it's full.
Yeah, no, it's campaign mode. You know, it's so we're not in D.C. and just getting around the district, letting people who don't know me, because the redistricting happened, and I got a big chunk of folks that are new to me, and I still have to serve the folks that are in the old district until January 3rd when we swear in. So I'm now sort of serving the old district and running in the new district. So it's been fun and kind of sad to say goodbye to some of the. I was just in Giles County and Lawrence County earlier today, and this is probably my last trip here as a congressman. As their congressman, let me put it that way. I'm sure I'll get back in the area, but so that's a little sad. I enjoyed both of those counties, great counties. Fortunately, I get to keep Wayne County, so that's
yes,
awesome.
Indeed, and we're happy about that.
Yeah, thanks.
And things going on. I mean, Washington, D.C. is just bonkers, as always. But, it's really difficult to get things done when there's a constant mode of trying to get reelected, basically.
Well, yeah, there are a lot of dynamic changes that have happened in the Congress over the last 40 years. One of which was they started sending congressmen home. We would be there for 4 days and then go home on the weekend. So they made it so that everybody lived back in their district and then just crashed in D.C. as opposed to the other way around. Well, you'd think that's great. You get to be back home, be in your district. The problem is that nobody. I mean, the old way, they'd go to barbecues together. Their kids would go to the same school, and so they'd get along a little better than they do now. And so the current there's not a lot of opportunity for folks to get together. And then the way of social media and all of this stuff is it's like you're campaigning the whole 2 years that I'm in Congress, and in the House side we're every 2 years, so it's like you're in campaign mode all the time, and that's really put barriers between the two parties solving problems for the country, and we got to fix that. I've got a little effort that I'm leading that I think will help with that, but that's the divide we have to overcome.
What are some of the activities that you've been facing there in D.C.? Some of the recent rules, laws, things that you're trying to get accomplished?
Well, the big issue, the big effort for me, there are tons of them, but a lot of pro-veteran legislation. I'm always the guy that's going to get the backs of my brothers and sisters in arms. And so there's that. But probably my biggest bill that I'm really excited about is the nearshoring bill and the reshoring bills, which decouple us from China, move manufacturing from China back to the U.S., back to Latin America, where the labor market, is too expensive in the U.S. to work for that particular manufacturing. If you're making T-shirts, it's just hard to do it in labor force and costs in the U.S. So, but let's move the manufacturing out of China. Let's get our dependency on China cut. Let's move it to the U.S., move it to Latin America. And that bill will really, the nearshoring one will create opportunities in Latin America and maybe decrease the pressure on our southern border. So there's sort of a win-win-win there. But those are some of the things I've been working on that I'm really excited about.
One of the things that has come up in the last few weeks and near and dear to my heart, been working with your staff, sending you a lot of material, is the fact that local pharmacies are being booted, is the easiest way to say it, out of TRICARE. It's the letter I received, and of course it was an outright lie, said that they were no longer going to be part of it, in citing the fact that they are the ones who were leaving. No, that's not the case. I mean, they didn't renew the contract on a whole bunch of folks, and I know you've been heavily involved in it. I provided your staff with a bunch of things, as did several other folks here in the county.
Yeah, what is happening is the contractor who provided pharmacy, basically billing services to cover pharmacy services for veterans in rural counties, has basically shrunk their footprint, and they're not partnering anymore with independent pharmacies. And that loss of that partnership through the program they had means that veterans in Wayne County are going to have to drive somewhere else to get their acute meds, right? It's obviously you ship your Pepsid, right? You're going to ship your meds that you're taking every day for the rest of your life. You take thyroid medicine, you can, so we'll ship that to the veteran. But this new deal means that if you have an acute, let's say you get a bronchitis and you need a Z-Pack and an inhaler, and it's time to go to the pharmacy to pick that stuff up. Well, if you're in Wayne County now, under Joe Biden's Veterans Administration, you're actually going to be driving somewhere else outside the county to get that done, and it's really ridiculous. It's hurting veterans here, and all the Tennessee's 90% rural, and so all the counties that are rural are going to be paying a huge price, and with gas prices like they are and the cost, it's just insane to do this to veterans.
Well, and the bad part of it is it's already in effect. They've got to reverse it because this went into effect October the 24th, and our local pharmacies, we do not here in Wayne County have a local pharmacy that is now part of the TRICARE system. It's the easiest way to say it. And so...
Well, I mean...
I can speak firsthand. We talked off air. I've got to go to Lawrenceburg or Savannah or to Florence, Alabama.
That's unacceptable. And that's why we sent a letter to the Secretary of Defense. We sent the letter to the guys who run TRICARE. We've sent a letter to the president. I mean, we're pushing hard. And when we get in control next Congress, and I think the Republicans will win the House, we're gonna put some stuff on the National Defense Authorization Act that they're not going to like, but they're going to have to sign. Yeah,
and I have a copy of that letter that you sent to the Secretary of Defense. 28 members of Congress signed that letter.
Yep.
That's a pretty strong offering.
Well, it would probably be a lot more than that, but recall that we're out of session, right? So we launched that to my colleagues via email and had 28 sign on real quick, so we flipped it over to DOD. I think had we left it open for a little longer, or been in DC where I could, on the floor go, hey, sign on to this. Hey, look at this and sign on. We probably could have got upwards of 100 plus.
Yeah, it's a challenge, and I know that from seeing this that they're going to have to answer.
Yeah,
I think that's
they're going to see it on the National Defense Authorization Act next Congress is what's going to happen. We're going to force them to fix it.
Because at that rate, I mean, we'll still be out of it, but it'll only be for maybe a year or something of that matter.
Yeah.
If you fix it in the act, that way it comes back on board, and our local pharmacies are back serving the retirees and those of us who need to go.
Yeah. No, that's we got to get it fixed, and I think you'll see a full court press from me on that.
Okay. Well, parting shots, because I'm getting the 2 minutes.
Yeah. We're going to go over and do a little listening session next door and town hall
over in the courthouse, top floor.
Yeah, so
and
come on by.
Everybody's invited. Top floor of the courthouse. Congressman Mark Green will be there to answer your questions. And sir, I'm
good to see you.
Good to see you too. I mean,
got Army playing Air Force this weekend.
Yeah. Go Army.
Go Army. Yeah, beat Air Force. I love my Air Force brothers, except for one day a year.
That's right. Well, you take care of yourself. Next time in town, we will do it again.
Sounds good. Have a good one.
You too. Congressman Mark Green, thank you much. All right. Back to music right here on Big Oldies.